Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Popular Stranger, and we are back with another gameplay video. I want to show you guys a loop blitz that I think is going to become very popular over the next month or so, maybe even within the next week with MCS ladders going on. It's the strong safety zone blitz out of Dime 3-2. You can find it in the Jags, Chiefs, and Packers playbooks. I'm personally in Packers or Jags because it also has 6-1, which is another formation that I will be showing you guys in an upcoming video. But for now, let's go ahead and show you guys exactly how to set this one up. It's not too difficult to do. First, we need to go through the coaching adjustments. If you don't know how to do that, you press in the R3 or right analog stick. That's going to bring up this menu. These are pretty global from what I do. You want to have auto flip turned off. You can actually do that in the settings, so you don't have to do it every single game. You want defensive motion response to disabled. I like to put all of the option and RPO things on conservative. For my zone drops, I typically go 0, 20, 10. Again, you can kind of customize that the way you want, but that's how I set up. And then finally, for safety depth, we're going to go with close, and the width, we're going to go pinch. Again, the play is strong safety, zone blitz. Now, I always flip the play before I call it, and then once it's flipped, again, the play is going to be strong safety, zone blitz. Now, I always flip the play before I call it. I'll explain why in a moment, but ultimately, when we run the play, this is how it's going to look on the field. The reason that we flip it at this point, there is no base align in the game. So the best way we can achieve this, and it's not going to be perfect all the time based on your opponent's formation, but the best way we can achieve this is to flip the play, then call it, and as soon as the huddle breaks or whatever, as soon as we're running on the field, you want to flip the play again. So that's going to revert it back to its original form. You do that by hitting square on PlayStation or X on Xbox, and then R2 or right trigger on Xbox, and now it's going to bring it back to the play the way it's supposed to look, which is this. Now, you're always going to be using this linebacker, and you can move him. He doesn't have to stay stationary at all. You obviously want to have a taller, faster linebacker or safety to be using, and the other guy is going to be your looper. Now, I have currently Ray Lewis, who's not the fastest player in the world, but he is a decent option. Now, what I would probably recommend, since we don't have many speedy linebackers in the game, is maybe putting a strong safety at the sub linebacker position. Since he's going to be looping, you want, as fast as possible, and if you can get some good block shit in there, that would be great. So if we get faster linebackers who have good tackle and good block shed and good pursuit, that's going to make it better. But for now, that's who I have out there, and he's been getting it done. Now, there's really just 3 adjustments you need to do every single play, and we want to set up a cover 4 shell to do so. You notice that strong safety in the upper right part of your screen, he's blitzing. You can absolutely not leave him that way, so I like to create this cover 4 shell by hitting double tapping triangle or Y on Xbox to bring up our, our defensive backs quick adjustment menu. And the first one we're going to hit is R1, which is our strong safety, Xavier Watts, and we're going to push our right analog stick to the right to put him in an inside quarter. So it looks like this. I'm going to do the same thing with my free safety, which right now is also an Xavier McKinney. So double tap triangle, then we're going to hit L1 this time, and then push our right analog stick to the right. So this is how it looks. Now we have a cover 4 shell. The last thing you absolutely have to do, or your defender will not do the loop, he'll just rush straight forward if you don't do this, is crash your D-line to the right or slant them to the right. So to do that, you're going to hit your directional pad to the left one time. You can see the menu that pops up, and then you're going to push your right analog stick to the right to slant right them. You're not going to really see any of that on the art menu when you kind of look at your defensive play, but that's going to make that looping linebacker actually loop instead of run straight forward. That's all you really have to do. Now, you still want to adjust your coverage behind it accordingly based on what you think your opponent's doing. So, you can shade down by hitting triangle and then down on your right analog stick to put those outside, CB3 and 4 into hard flats. You can double tap your triangle button 2 times to bring up that menu for the DBs. And if you want to put, say the X defender in a purple zone, you can go ahead and push your left analog stick to the right to put him in a curl flat. So you're kind of covering like the table routes over here for the running back, but then the corner routes with this guy over there. again, you're going to have to adjust your defense accordingly, even though vert hooks right now are broken in match, unfortunately. I still run them sometimes to kind of set up a situation like this. Also, you're going to have to get good at switch sticking. It's just part of the game at this point. You need to kind of know the coverages that are the plays that are coming and the popular route combinations. That's what makes this defense good, outside of just, the loop eventually getting home and getting good block shed. And that's, I think, why this is better than the dime 1-4 loop, the dime 3-2 or 2-3, whatever it is. It just happens to get better block sheds, and that's why it's kind of working for me. But that's really it. Again, you have to adjust the defense accordingly and have to have some good switch sticking or user skills to take away your opponent's first read to give it time for that blitz to get there. And as far as I know, IDing the mic will probably pick this up, but the fact that it gets good block shedding, you're still essentially rushing for here, and you're hoping for a shed. I wouldn't really use stunts in this one. If you want to experiment with those, you can. And if your opponent starts to, roll out, you can always QB contain by hitting R1 or right bumper and then L1 or a left bumper. If you do that, you then have to make sure that you set up your slant to the right again by pressing the D-pad to the left and then the analog stick to the right. Otherwise, it'll cancel that out. But if we run the play here, and I'm using two controllers, so we're not actually going to throw the ball. I'm just showing you how the loop kind of goes around. Well, in that case, he didn't so much, but it still caused pressure, and we got the block sheds to get home. We'll run it another time here, and you see we got more of that loop animation, and the center just totally disregarded him. Maybe that was the left guard, but that one, maybe because I was doing so many adjustments the first time around, it messed up. We'll run it one more time. You don't have to hover over here if you don't want to, but you certainly can, and you'll see the loop coming in there. Now, he kind of got blocked a little bit, but the block shed helps. And again, I can't stress enough, that's what's really making it so good, is because it's getting better block sheds, way better block sheds than dime 1-4, which is another loop that works. It's just not amazing. And I don't really think you're going to see loops be as good as they were in Madden 24, because it looks like the gameplay team tried to address them, and rightfully so. But this is still a good four-man rush at the end of the day to get some good pressure. And if you have good coverage and good switch stick behind it, you should be able to get pressure. One more time, we'll run it. And again, he kind of loops, he cuts back, but he's still trying to go after the quarterback, and the D ends were getting there as well. Now, on the flip side, if you're on offense and you run into something like this, probably the best way to combat it, and really any loop blitz that you might see, is IDing the mic on the actual loop blitzer. So to achieve that, when you're on offense, you're going to hit L1 or left bumper on Xbox. You're going to get up basically your pass protection menu. You can then press X to bring up the ID the mic menu. Then that's going to put that M character above whatever player you want. You can toggle with your left and right analog stick. You can go up and down as well, but you want to select the looper, which is going to be Ray Lewis right here, and then hit X. That will ID him as the Mike linebacker, and in my experience, that's been, for the most part, picking up loop blitzes this year. But one more time, I'm just stressing it, even if it gets picked up, you're still getting really good block sheds with your 3 down linemen and the linebacker that's looping. That's why you want to get a good block shed on the looper that can also have good speed. And it's really that easy. I'm not going to act like it's the best defense in the world, but if any of you guys are struggling out there running any type of defense in Madden 26 and you're looking for some help, this is a very good play and formation that you can mix in. And in upcoming videos, we'll talk about the dime 1-4 loop blitz, which is going to be another playbooks, and also the 6-1 defense, which is another really popular blitz that I'm running right now in the Packers defensive playbook. That's the one that I'm going to be in probably for a while now, considering these things are working. And it's, just a couple good options to get pressure if you're really struggling. So I hope this one helped. If it did, click that thumbs up.